live.
I want to say I'm sorry for last weekend. I poisoned myself eating chicken that I didn't know was bad. Bought it from a local grocery store. Maybe my stomach just didn't like it, but I apologize.
I made him go home.
Was not.
I drove, in fact.
Yeah, and that's unusual. She wants to drive. She normally don't like to drive because she can't see good. Will you let me know when I'm getting 45 minutes in? So I don't want to take these people too far.
Sure.
I can talk for hours.
Woo-hoo. I will definitely let you know.
I learned something from my younger son. Twins I actually have. Clay. And Drew's been saying it also, but Clay more. That TikTok has more information on the news than YouTube. And so I went to TikTok and started looking at what people were saying about North Carolina and what's going on in North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, and Florida. Mostly North Carolina. And I would suggest that you go to TikTok and see for yourself. Because it's the things that you see on TikTok, that it's not even close to the same thing you see on YouTube. It's not even close.
In fact, on YouTube, the videos there were actually denying. The one we watched was saying, oh no, that's not happening.
Yeah, I said, oh, that's not. And he talked to some workers and they said, no, we didn't, anyway. I'm not saying everything on TikTok is accurate. I'm just saying
You're actually hearing from the people.
You're hearing from the people that live there or volunteering there, that are driving there and having issues. Big time issues with government problems being interfering. So the local government sheriffs in the local area have started arrested anybody that was stopping aid coming in, which it was happening. So anyway, I had intentions to talk and still intend to talk about what I think that men should be doing in order to be men. But first of all, I want to say that what's happening in North Carolina is gut-wrenching. It's made me tear up and sob, and it's bad. One of the guys was talking about that he worked with the fire department, and they found a mother and her children in the trees, dead. They technically didn't find them. The bears found them.
Oh, good gosh.
So it's just on and on, People couldn't hang on to their kids, and the kids got, away from them. Some of them never found. There was a father on there who had a 27-year-old son die in the floods, and he was asking for money so that he could bury him. A GoFundMe. So you need to go yourself, because you will not see those things. I looked and looked and looked. You will not see the people talking about what's happening to them in a direct fashion. They will have somebody interviewing them and editing them. Some you'll get some direct fashion, but nothing like TikTok. I'm not saying TikTok is better. I'm just saying it's another source. It's like I have mechanic tools, and you don't use the same wrench over and over and over. You do use some wrenches more often than others. Maybe that's what it needs to be considered. TikTok needs to be considered maybe a more direct personal thing in this case. I don't know. I wasn't impressed at first. When I put videos on TikTok years ago, it seemed like everybody in the comments was trying to figure out a way to date me, which is odd, as old as I am. But, you know, it was constant.
You don't have to start that channel.
No. But, I mean, I'm just saying, I had my own indifference to TikTok. And, you know, it tends to be more of screen time that I really am getting thoroughly disinterested in. I'm getting disgusted with the time that I spend in front of screen. So, with that leading into men now. I'm not talking about women, I'm talking about men. So when you grow up, you intend to be a masculine person. You have a lot of different battles, and some of them start early. You know, you could be that hard to deal with kid in grade school or earlier. You know, mom could say you were that hard to handle. So what I want to talk a little bit about, and you could spend many hours talking about what a man should be. So I want to hover around teenage years on up to where you're becoming, you're deciding to be who you're going to be. What will be successful if you negotiate your growing periods?
When a boy actually needs a man. That's where I failed my oldest son.
So she thinks she failed. I personally think she might not have been able to give everything, but he had a very good life and he had choices to make. So what I want to talk about, or what are the importance of the makeup of a man? What is it that he needs? And I would say, I was having this talk with a woman today, but men particularly, I have had this discussion many times. The war, the battle is in your head. It's terrible things happen to you. My grandmother used to say, and I've probably mentioned this before, it's not what happens to you that counts, it's how you react to it. So, you as a young teenager or even younger, you lose your temper and you get used to it. You start regularly losing your temper, and then you end up growing up to be an older person who loses their temper and they do bad things because it's that border of sanity, of what is right, is crossed over by your expansiveness, your anger, your fear being expressed with anger. And quite often I talk to women who are having, they don't openly tell me because I'm at this shop here, but they talk about, things that they're having problems. So I try to explain to women that a lot of times men try to hide their fear with anger. So they lose their temper, so should they cry? Maybe. I'm not trying to say that men should cry. But, the consensus is that you should never show your weakness to a woman, that you should never...
We're shaking the table.
I don't know. You should never let them see weakness and all that stuff. I don't really think that's true. What it really means is you can't reside in weakness if you're going to be the person who has courage. You can't live there. You have to be more than someone who is untested. So what do I mean by that? When you play video games, the whatever thing or person that you're playing against, boss, monster, anything like that, it kills you or damages you until you die. and you start over and you get a new life. Oh, you're frustrated, but there's no real pain in losing. So looking at the way young Gen Zs are, and the upcoming people that are coming up, young people, they spend a lot of time on video games and screens, and they're not living a life that's got any memories. What kind of good memories do you have playing a game that you can go back and say, hey, you remember the time, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago that we were online playing a game or talking online? What kind of memories? So you understand that's that's the superficialness, the lack of value that you have from screen time. It's not real life. Yeah, my wife's going, yeah.
Not really, okay? Final Fantasy, I still have friends. I don't talk to them anymore, but I have really good friends.
Yeah, can you remember a specific moment when...
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, she says that. I'm telling you, whenever she's 70, she's not going to be remembering that.
No, I'll be remembering the kids, you and my chickens.
The more important things. The memories that she has with killing accidentally chickens will stick with her more than playing Final Fantasy. And so what I'm saying is, when you play real life, like when you run through the woods, I wanted to be Evel Knievel because that's what every kid wanted to be whenever it was my age. Like, oh my God, this
even
wild.
Early to mid 70s, Evel Knievel was a big deal.
Oh, he was a real man.
I knew some girls who wanted to do that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, because that is a reaching out for that adventure. He was in touch with it. He got hurt. You couldn't help but admire the willingness and the risk to do it all and then be successful. But guess what? The guy had broken bones, all kinds of them, not just like motocross broken bone racers. We're talking about extensive, all over his body broken bones, tons of places, multiple times. So what I'm leading up to is when you lose in a video game, there's really no pain. And in life, you cannot get stronger without pain. So how do you get muscle if there's not pain? You don't get muscle without pain. You don't gain strength without pain. You don't get experience without pain. And how are you getting pain through a video game? You're getting friends all over the world. Maybe my boys talk about that. Oh, I got a friend over there, and I got a friend over there. What kind of strength are you getting from those people? I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm just saying, do you actually know them? So there's a saying that says, a friend in need. That is your need, is a friend indeed. That friend that helps you in when you need somebody, that's a true friend. How many times you got people saying, oh, well, I wish you'd let me know. I would have helped you move. But they wouldn't answer the phone when you called them. Or when times are bad, you really find out. Like when my house burned, I found out who were my real friends. You find out. A lot of people, oh, I didn't know. But yes, they did. They were too busy. So, what you do online, the screen time, even what you're listening to me, I beg of you to spend less time looking at screens. They will not fix your house. They will help you to see how to do it. You still have to do it. You have to go through the pain of making a mistake, taking it apart, and doing it again. You go to be a nurse, you have to go through the pain of being broke down mentally. Just I
still get breakout in hives.
So that you can know that when you've done it right and you survived it, it is something you value. So when a mother has a child, that pain of carrying a child, that discomfort constantly, is part of the joy when they accomplish it. And when they lose a child, it helps them appreciate all the more when they don't lose one. It's wow, what a miracle. And men, I'm telling you, if you don't try to be on the side of the road trying to fix a bearing that went bad, or sweating it out, or freezing to get something done so you can be at work the next day, trying. If you don't go through that pain, you do not get the strength. You will not be tested by fire. You will not have been hardened by fire. I'm not saying you have to torture yourself. I'm not saying you need to make bad decisions. I do promise you this. There will be at no point in your life when you could dodge pain and not pay a price later. You make a mistake, I accept that myself, that I make mistakes. I just try not to make a lot of them. I choose not to make a conscious mistake. But I've cut myself many times. I've smashed my fingers. I've got 2 divorces.
You ain't gonna have no more divorces.
I've got tragedies that have happened I've had a house burn. I've had people take advantage of me. I've had people take money from me. I've had failure after failure, whether it's my fault or not. And that pain made me sharper every time. Like, hey, I know these earmarks. I know these circumstances. But if it was a video game, I wouldn't remember all the circumstances necessarily at all. But when you lose money that you need to pay your bills, it hurts. So a lot of guys are like, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to be working for somebody else. But guess what? When you're learning a new trade, it takes being tested by fire.
I'm not any better because I'll refuse to trade here. I'll trade with my chicken, but I ain't trading here.
So, gentlemen, young gentlemen particularly, do not dodge things because it might be that you might fail. What are the rewards for trying? I wish I'd read a bunch of positive thinking books, because I get my brain wired after many hundreds of books that I've read and phrases that I've got in my head. They would all start surging out. I want men, young men particularly, to know that it is normal for it to hurt. It is not a video game. You don't get a new life. You do something reckless and you could lose your life. You could lose a leg. You could be injured for a broken bone that will bother you for the rest of your life. That's why I didn't encourage my little skinny boys to be in sports. Even though they were really fast, they could have easily been in track, been a wide receiver for football, played basketball. They were just too small, too short. They would have been hurt. They would have been fast and talented, hand-eye coordination fantastic. But you know what would have happened? They would have had that pain, busted a knee, blew out a knee, hurt their back, pulled hamstrings, weakened their ankles, and for what? So that they will have had an experience of working with other people and making their school proud of them. Whenever they're injured, how much does the school compensate them? So they go through the rest of their life with a bad knee, bad ankle, pulled hamstrings, all the other injuries. When does the school call them up? Hey, send them a note. Hey, thank you for your helping us. Nobody gives you anything like that. Why would you risk that kind of physical damage when there are plenty in car accidents, doing physical work on your car or your home? Why would you risk that? unless you think you're going to go to college because of it. Maybe you're good enough to go to college. I probably would have been myself. But I'm trying to tell you something here. The pain needs to be for the right reason. If you're trying to be this guy who goes and got, I'm willing to fight just for the fun of it. Now I'm a rowdy guy. I got my hot rod car. I did it. Got lots of tickets. 7 tickets in 1 year. That's not counting the ones that I fought and won. 7 that I did not win in 1 year. I was a hot rod, risk-taking guy because I had all that vim and vigor in me. Because I didn't know how to control it. It's just like losing your temper. You lose your control over wildness. It's in you. It's energy, gentlemen. It's power. That power needs to be tamed. That power needs to make you tougher, determined to accomplish what you need to accomplish, even if you have to avoid getting into a fight just for the vanity's sake of it. Can you walk away without getting into a fight, possibly dead? I've got lots of guys that I grew up with, that I rode motorcycles with, that I'm telling you, they died in their early 20s. For what benefit? So they could be wild. I was one of them. I could have been dead easily. I got tons of those memories. What I want you to understand is that wildness needs to be tamed into power, determination, goal setting, being determined to be a good person and help other people. That's what that power, that wildness that you feel is strength that's building up in you. That willingness to take chances needs to be used into building something. Risking your money to build something for your family, maybe. You should not be risking a relationship and having a child with a woman that you barely know and you're only having sex together for recreation. You should not be doing that. And I'm like, I know that people are going to be, I'm telling you, this is what I told my boys when they were young. I said, yeah, you can date when you have your own car, your own furniture, your own home. Then if you can take care of that girl, yeah, you can date. Well, Dad, we wouldn't be living with you if we had all that. You're right. And what's going to happen is you're going to grow up and go through high school, and you're going to see all these play dates turn into a little child that neither one of those kids wanted. And both sides of those parents are going to be angry because there's a child now. And that boy and that girl now have the responsibility of a child for the rest of their life. It doesn't go away. That child goes and leaves. It's still your child. You're a mother and a father. Are you ready for that?
And the door, you got a revolving door too.
Yeah, they come back. I'd love that. I want them to be able to feel, hey, I need to recover. I need to hang out with you guys and rebuild who I am, reassess who I am, go back to my roots. I'm okay with that. What I'm trying to get you guys to understand, if you are the guy that you know what risk you're taking, risk it in the right place. Use that energy, that wildness that's in you as energy to be determined, to set goals, and to work hard through cold weather, hot weather, busted knuckles, hard to do, frustrating, tearfully angry things like in mechanicking or any kind of other hard work, digging post holes for this week. You got to go through 2 inches of lime after 10 inches of clay. Yeah, I can go get a $40,000 or a $500,000 auger with a huge truck, or I can just do that. Take that pain and turn it into muscle and determination. And once I've done it, I know I can do it again. That's what you guys need to understand. The video game cannot give that to you. It cannot make you more of a man. It can make you less because you got less time to become one. No experience with having terrible, tough times. There's no way you are in a business or working for somebody who has a business that you don't have pain. You get rained out, you get snowed out, you get IRS tells you that how much money you got to pay them. You have vehicles that break down, you have materials that change in the middle of your job price-wise. When you're working for somebody else, you got uncooperative, angry, and unhappy people you're working with. It is pain. It takes determination. Not beating somebody up. You have to learn people skills. And people are like, I don't want to do that. And yeah, well, that's the pain we're talking about. In order for you to grow up, you have to learn how to do those things. You cannot do that on a video game. In a video game, you can cuss each other out, call each other kinds of names, and shoot each other.
Things that get your ass whooped.
If you do that in real life, you're going to feel pain from somebody who's not happy with you. You cannot say those things. You cannot do those things. If you are in the use of your mouth to say derogatory things, you're like that little boy whose father took him outside and said, you know, you're losing your temper way too much. Every time you lose your temper, I want you to put a nail in this picket fence. And every time you go a day without losing your temper, pull the nail out. So at one point he had a bunch of nails all over that picket fence. He drove into it because he lost his temper all the time. And eventually the boy got like, I want to get to the point where I don't obviously see that I have lost my temper. So he comes to his dad and said, look, Dad, I went all these days and pulled all the nails out. And the dad goes, yeah, but there's still holes from where the nails were. That's what happens when you say things that you should have thought about before you said them, instead of being impulsive and just saying things. If you're going to have a relationship with anybody, it requires you to discern what you should not say, more importantly than what you do say. If you keep your mouth shut, nobody knows for sure if you're stupid or not. Most are going to think you might be smart. Keep your mouth shut if it's got something bad that's going to hurt people and damage people. Get what you need to get done. Say the things you need to get it done. Don't be overwhelming. Don't steal other people's strength to get your agenda done. But don't let their weakness, their lack of experience or willing to take in the pain to stop you from getting what you need to get done. But you don't beat them up because they didn't do what you wanted them to do. You don't go out and get drunk because the world's frustrating. You don't drink and then drive home thinking, oh, well, you know, I haven't been caught yet. Why would you risk all that? For what purpose? Where is the wisdom, the determination? Do you understand how important it is? And like, oh, everybody should let loose every now and then because I got all this vim and vigor in me. That needs to be channeled into strength and power. Determination, not stupidity. You need to see that if you walk along down a sidewalk and you just don't make a decision not to put your leg out and it stays underneath you, behind you, you're going to fall on your face. You need to make one good decision after another. Like I've told my boys, whether or not they remember it or not, you could be doing all the kind things in the whole world. You could be kind to people for years. And then you rob one bank. And you will not be known for all the kindness that you did to people for all those years. You will be known as a bank robber. Or a raper. Or a thief. You have to be focused on being a reliable determined, powerful person. You have to do that. That will be attractive to other people. And once you've disciplined yourself and accomplished those things, you will be successful. Not necessarily in money. Maybe you could lose all your money to some accident. Like those poor people in North Carolina. They built their homes up and then it just washed away. Maybe even with their loved ones in it. They lose their family members and their home and all their memories. What kind of determination does it take to deal with that kind of pain and go on and do it again? There is no billionaire that has not overcome dramatic losses. Not one. All of them dealt with pain. P.T. Barnum, Kellogg, Remington. You just point at Elon Musk. Anybody you want to point out, there's billionaires, they had to go through pain. Now, some of them are dishonest. That's another side. We can talk about morality. Doing what's best for other people. What are you going to be remembered for? The crooked things you did? The bad things you did to other people? Took advantage? What's worse is, what do you know you did? What kind of regrets do you have in you that causes you to feel bad? Don't do that to yourself. Don't lose your temper. Don't do all the stupid things that young people do because they got all this energy. Get determined. They don't make movies about all the boring stuff, the stuff that takes true strength. They don't make movies about that.
I skip the boring part.
They got this divorced police chief running off with the prostitute because the bad guys were chasing him, and the movie ends there. That does not meet with success. That does not show you how they were ever successful. It's just an action-packed movie to keep you interested in things going. It's not real life, guys. Romance is not all romance. Dealing with women is not all fun and games.
Oh, hell no, we're not anybody.
If you want the things that you want in your life, you need to do it where you don't damage the mind that you have, your heart, your conscience. How do you do that? Well, you stay focused on helping other people, making other people's lives better. How do you do that? Well, at work, be the best employee you can be. Learn how to be even better. Work at being, you're not competing with anybody else. It's one of the things you do when you're young. Like, you measure yourself by how you deal with if they're better than you. It doesn't matter if they're better than you or you're better than them. If you are miles ahead of somebody, does that mean you shouldn't improve? No, you need to be more than what you are every day. When you're older, the battle is to be more than what you are. Even though your body's telling you can't or you shouldn't. Your mind is saying, I want to quit. I don't want to deal with the pain anymore. Men, this is what we have to understand. The struggle of life, that pain is part of it. It's part of it. Stop dodging it. Weightlifters understand that. They're not going, hey, I'm trying to find an easy way so I don't have to. They make these cushions or couches that give you exercise without you actually doing it. They have mechanical that waves your legs around. That's the reason that's not successful is because it's not pain, which builds muscle, which builds strength. You're going to have to deal with rejection from anybody, women, men, business. That's part of the pain. You become better if you let yourself. You become more if you want to be. There's a movie called The Big Kahuna, and all three of these salesmen are there and they agree, hey, let's just share a room, save money. You got a young, innocent guy and two older guys that are old salesmen, very different, but old salesmen. And this young guy's trying to fit in. Well, guess what? The young guy accidentally bumps into this big kahuna, this big wave that might take any of them to the next level as a salesman. He accidentally bumps into him, and it's like total success. He friendly with him and everything. One is, and he was saying, well, why are you? He's talking to this one guy. He says, why are you so? You kind of look at me with lack of trust and not him. And he goes, I know him. I know he has regrets. Things that he did, he doesn't want to do anymore. I know that. I've known him for a long, long time. I know he's been through these things. I don't know you. You haven't been tested. You don't have regrets because you haven't been really around long enough to have them. I wish I'd have done better. You don't have that. That was a memorable moment for me because, you have to understand. Try not to have too many regrets. Make good decisions. Do good things. It seems like nobody cares, but they do. They do. And what you leave behind is how you've affected other people, not money. Money can be dispersed. Billions and billions of dollars are given to people in Ukraine. And those people who live there are dying. Did that money help them? Does money make it work? Does money guarantee you no pain? You think that when you're young. Oh, I wouldn't have to deal with all this if I was richer. And my friend who's got money, if they didn't suffer like you, they are not as strong as you, no matter what you think. They don't have the same experience, power, strength that comes from going through tough times. No matter how much money you got, you don't get that unless you've been through those tough times. You have to understand. You cannot get through life without pain and expect to have any kind of life to be proud of. You're going to accidentally win the lottery. Is that something to be proud of? You bought one lottery ticket and got $3 billion or something. Is that something that's going to make you a better person? Is that going to make you look back at yourself and say, man, I've looked back and look what I've accomplished. I bought a lottery ticket. Your battle is within your head. Your battle is in your head. I'm telling you. That pain that comes with it, you might lose your leg. You might have a clot that causes them to have to cut your leg off. Or you have an accident. You have a stroke. Do you just lay down and quit? You could. Or do you have the determination to get up and start walking, trying to get that left side of your body going again? Try to get a false leg and keep going. I tell people, I go out of my way to tell people that I've seen them go through that. I don't know them. And I tell them I am so proud of them because they have showed determination. And where I can see it, a fake leg, lost children, lost their home, lost their job, and they're still trying. How can you not understand the strength that it takes?
Donna Lee, appreciate you. Pray for Ona. She's in ICU. Jefferson City. She's not a quitter, and this is a tough one for her.
Man, my heart goes out to both of you. I know you as a mother and her as a person who's fighting her fight. Yeah, my heart goes out to you.
Is that Donna Lee's daughter?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, I am so sorry, honey.
The best thing I can do is to tell you that my heart, I got to know you guys, and I know that the two of you played off of each other for quite a long time. You got strength from her, and she got strength from you. Maybe one got more than the other at some point, but you both got strength from one another, and I was very proud to be involved in your world just a little bit. Both of you. And you did it despite the fact that the man who was the father wasn't involved, and you tried to help that man be involved toward the end of his life. I so admire you and your daughter, you in particular, your daughter for being determined, and you for hanging in there and doing what you needed to do. I know that everybody has regrets. But Donna, you've got a lot to be proud of. You have a lot. And I look at you're an example. I look at that and I am humbled by it. So take comfort in the fact that you did a lot of things for that when a lot of people would just step off. Not have any more. Look at your husband. I am so proud of both of you for different reasons. So my heart goes out to both of you for different reasons. So, by the way, Clay is now not working with me. He's in Denver as a air conditioning guy with his new career, working at the college, the medical college, as an air conditioning guy.
And he made it safely to Denver.
He made it today, so I didn't get to sleep very good because I woke up with a little bit of a headache, and then I had to think about whether he's going to make it or not. But he got all the way up to Denver, Aurora, where the Venezuelan gangs are. It's not that bad all over Aurora, but anyway, he's up there, and yes, that's what I'm talking about. You never stop being a parent, do you? That pain that you worry about the struggle of your children, and you can't do much about it generally. They make their decisions, and they have to live with them.
So do you.
But we get affected by it. And so my heart goes out to you.
Thank you for your kind words.
Um,
We love you, babe.
Couldn't do anything but learn to do that. So, what I'm trying to do is get you young guys to understand you have to go through pain. Even when you did something wrong, own up to it, fix it. We had a guy coming over to our house today. His dog killed a ton of chickens, his neighbor's chickens, not his. And he spent hundreds of dollars to fix what his dog did. You know what kind of man that is?
And he was a young boy.
He's
I don't
young.
think he was Clay's age.
Might be 30. No, he's
Old
young.
enough?
Yeah, he's Clay's 24.
Yeah, he's either younger or right around.
Can you imagine the strength that it took for him to say, I'm going to have to spend $600, $700 and drive hours? He's from the Springfield area, drove down to us in the Rogers area. I mean, I didn't have time. I didn't take the time to tell him how much I admired him. But that is a rare thing. That's a good guy. He has dealt with the fact that he's responsible for something and he's doing what he can to fix it. I don't know how to tell you any other way, guys. There's no way to avoid pain. If you avoid it early, it'll catch up with you later. You have to go ahead and deal with the pain.
You're there.
So I want to encourage you boys to understand that battle is in your head. To shut your mouth when you got all this vim and vigor. To be a man who thinks about what he's going to say before he damages, leaves holes in that fence, even though he pulled the nail out. That's how relationships end, because you took out more than you put in. Men or women, it's how relationships end. You took out more than you put in. Or they got a problem. But again, relationships are going to cause you pain. It's just the way it is, guys. Do not dodge pain because you don't want to hurt. You can be smart and save yourself a lot of pain, but you need to apply that strength and power that you have in you to get more pain, like working 2 jobs. Like I talked to a mother today who's working 2 jobs. Has been for years. You can do the same thing.
Never done that. It ain't no damn fun.
Screen time does not create a man. It does not. It will not create you, giving you the strength to go through bad times. It will not give you a good conscience that you did the right thing. Where do you get that reward? From a video game.
You don't. There's always another video game.
It's another brand new one they're going to make. Do you understand how much time you have? You have the time that you drive to work, you have the time at work, you go to lunch, and you sleep. And there's like another 6-7 hours. Do you want to spend that on screen? Where you gain no experience and no pain, you gain no power and no strength? Life will slip away from you. Do not waste it. You will have regrets that you don't want. Go out there and get power. Control that power into strength. That will give you experiences like you've never, even when you lose. Thomas Edison brought his wife out. Hey, you need to come out and see this fire. When his place, it was as big as a football field. It was burning down. He said, you'll never see a fire this big again.
I didn't know that story.
And that guy failed over and over to get things accomplished. He just kept on. Okay? P.T. Barnum lost his museum and his home in different fires. Kellogg's lost his fortune. Remington lost his fortune several times. These guys lost everything and had to start over. This isn't when they had insurance for it to cover it all. There is no success story without pain unless you stole it. And some of these guys with stock market and everything, they stole it. They won the lottery and they stole it. They didn't earn it. You need to be looking at your life as if somebody, like my mother told me, as if somebody was writing a book about you. Everything you do, as if somebody's writing a book about you. And they're going to write the book that you're spending 6 hours a day in front of a screen? Is that what that one line? Today he spent 6 hours in front of a screen. Is that how your book's going to be written? Today he tried to do something that got kind of hard, he quit. He didn't want to go out there because it was going to be hard to do. Is that the way your book's going to be written? Live your life like a book's being written about you. Live your adventure. Be that person who battles himself and who works hard in his own mind to be more than what they are. You are to be more than what you are, or you will be losing ground, because your old age will catch up with you and you'll be losing ground fast. If you've been goofing off, you'll be so far that you won't be able to come back. You won't live very long. Life might just, a plane might come down and land on you anyway. A car come across the double yellow line and hit you head on. Why would you have not lived the life you need to live before that? Live your life like somebody's writing a book about you. Be proud of what you do. Work hard. Deal with pain. This is part of being a man. Part. All right, I'm going to let you go. I know I'm just talking to one side, but I think women need to hear what men should be also. That's what you need to find in a man. That God has been tested and true. Not the guy that says, please forgive me, I'm sorry, baby. Please take me back. Don't I look good? Did we have a good time that one time way back? No, you need to have somebody who is willing to do all the boring and painful things. Anyway, I'm going to let you go. Live your life like somebody's writing a book about you. See you later.